Good morning, everybody. And good morning, Frank. Good to see you. Good to see all of you. I want to talk about something today that we all have in common, all of us. It is a wondrous thing that humans that have this ability, and that is the ability to dream. When we think about dreams, we think about fantasies that we have or aspects that we strive to achieve in our lives. And we think of fantasies based basically on either past moments or future prospects. But one of the things that I want to talk about, first of all, is the biblical aspect of dreams. Dreams in the biblical aspect are usually prophetic dreams. Some pharaoh or somebody is having a dream, and the dream is in the storyline is very important because it disturbs or awakens the dreamer, the person who had the dream, and is such a visual has such visual consequence to it that this person is disturbed by it and wants it to be interpreted. We know that there is a story where the Pharaoh has a dream, the leader of Egypt has a dream, and in this dream he sees certain aspects. He sees 7 cows of plenty, and he sees 7 corns of plenty, and then he sees them destroyed and so forth. And he wants to know, what in the world does this mean? And one of his people who is close to him says, well, you know what? I've got a guy that's working for me who has interpreted dreams for me, and he's really good at it. You give him a shot. He says, some guy that works for you? Who is he? Well, he's this underling that we've captured and bought. And I bought him, and he works in the bakery, and he's an okay guy, I think. He's Jewish, but other than that, he's an okay guy. It's like, what? Okay, we'll give him a shot. So he does, and he interprets the dream, and he says the first part of the dream means there will be that this is a plentiful time for 7 years, and then there will come a famine for a great number of years, 7. And they use that term 7 to mean not necessarily the number 7, but to mean an amount of time. And we want you to, and so I suggest to you that what you do is you store up as much grain and meat and so forth as you possibly can. Excuse me. And then when the time of famine comes, you will be prepared for this. So the Pharaoh actually listens to him and says, oh, okay, well, let's do that. Let's do it. We're capable of doing it. Let's do it. So they do, and they fill the granaries, and they fill everything else, and they fill the coffers, and they're ready for this bad time. If and when it comes, they're thinking. And sure enough, the time comes. So we see this, and we see other dreams. We see the dream of Joseph, the what would you call him? The foster father or what of Jesus, and he has a dream that's telling him, he's warned in a dream to leave and go to some other place. And where does he go? That same country, Egypt. He goes there and lives for quite some time to avoid the scourge of children that occurs uh, by the leader of the people, the high priest, and so forth. And he is, and they leave, and it protects the young child. By the way, just as a little aside, many people, I am one of them. When I was very, very young, I always thought, well, why did this person want to kill all the children 3 and under? Why 3? Well, on studying the Bible closer, I realized that by the time the wise men had come to see Jesus, this child that was spoken of in their through the stars that they were following, time had passed. It wasn't like the picture that we show in the creche at Christmas of them being camels and 3 wise men and so forth, all together with shepherds, and they're all happening at one night. Didn't happen at all, because it clearly says in the Bible that the wise men came to the place where they were living, and when they came in the door, it says, so it was a house. They were living there, and they came and saw this child and said, this is the one we've been searching for. This is the one we've heard of that's in our scriptures. And so that's part of that story. And like I said, that's just an aside. Getting back to dreams, we see these as prophetic dreams. We see them occurring throughout not only the Bible, but other works of literature of a spiritual nature. And we see these dreams occurring, and people have tried to interpret these dreams in certain ways so that they would get what they wanted, or they would get the ability to avoid what they don't want. And they do this by not only interpreting, but putting symbols within these dreams as they interpret them. Now, we tend to do this sort of the same thing. We have a dream, and we see somebody or something in the dream, and we wake up and we tell somebody, I had this dream, and in it, so-and-so was still alive, or I had this dream and I was being chased by a big animal, or whatever the dream is. And the person usually tries to help us interpret that dream by saying, by using some of the same ideas from psychology, and they say that river that you see in the dream represents, and they'll put a label on it. That animal that you saw in the dream represents, and they'll put a label on it. Well, I did that myself for years and years and years. I interpreted dreams or tried to, by going to books and finding out the ways that other people had interpreted these symbols that I felt like I was seeing in my dream. And I was having a hard time, and I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about, of trying to determine if the symbols and the answers that I was giving and the names I was placing on these symbols was correct or not. Oftentimes it was just, well, that's just silly. It doesn't make any sense to me. I can't follow that. And that dream felt like it was so important. It was what we describe as, and not just a dream that passes and you wake up and 10 minutes later you're saying, I was having a dream. What was it? I can't remember. It's the dreams that stick with you, called vivid dreams. They are so vivid. You see these people, you hear them, you are looking through your eyes at everything that happens. You're not a participant in the dream necessarily, but you are aware of everything that's going on in this vivid dream. Usually they're in technicolor. You see colors, you see everything about it that seems as real as if you are awake. These dreams supposedly have deep, deep psychological meaning. They deal with the subconscious, and they are, in a way, prophetic to you and your life. Let's discuss those for just a moment. Carl Jung had a way of interpreting dreams, and so did Sigmund Freud. And they looked to the subconscious of the person, and they looked to see if there was anything in there that could be interpreted in the life as they presented it, but usually in their life as a child. Sigmund Freud was really big on that, of saying these are ideas that happened within your childhood, and they are still being expressed today through your dreams, and that's what's going on. One of the followers of Jung, and to a degree Freud, but sometimes he disagreed with Freud, came along a man by the name of Frederick S. Perls. He was known as Fritz Perls. He was a German, as were the other two, and he studied under Carl Jung for a long time and was a great acquaintance of not only him but also of Sigmund Freud. And he interpreted dreams a little bit differently. Once in some therapy that I was attending, this person that was our leader in that said, I think it would be very helpful for all of you to read this book by Fritz Perls, and it's called Gestalt Therapy Verbatim. Gestalt Therapy Verbatim, Gestalt, Gestalt. Well, my first question was, okay, that's a German word. What does Gestalt mean? Well, to simplify it as much as I possibly can in our kind of language today, American English and so forth, it's that feeling of being between a rock and a hard place. You just don't know which way to go. Both and all things seem to be very difficult and in a way blockages, not only in your present life, but also in your dream life, your sleep life, everything, your past, every time you're looking at something. Well, Fritz Perls came up with the notion in the idea, and he created that and used the word Gestalt, which means to be in this place where no matter which way you turn, you really can't, you're blocked. You can't get out. You're stuck. He says this, you're stuck because you're not fully present. You're stuck because you're still fantasizing that things that happen in your past have quality and control over what's going on in your present. As long as you do this, you live in a fantasy of not who you were and not who you will be. Not only that, you live in a fantasy of who you are. That's Gestalt. Can't get out of the past, can't get through to the future, can't live in the present. Why? Because we have segmented our life and we have not fully appreciated the present moment. This shows up, he says, in our dreams. And he has a special way of interpreting dreams that I absolutely loved and fell for the moment I heard of him. Instead of putting a value or a symbol on each piece of your dream, he says, you are every aspect of your dream. And it's taking place not in a past situation and shouldn't be interpreted so, but as though it is a story you are telling. You should tell it as a story you are living in the present moment. And if you see yourself going up a set of stairs, or you see a sister or a loved one, or let's say a red-nosed clown going up a set of stairs, you should do this. You should say, instead of saying, I saw a red-nosed clown going up a set of stairs. What does that mean? You say to yourself instead, I see a red-nosed clown going up a set of stairs. Bring it into the present moment. Then further, you start describing that clown. And instead of saying the clown is or the clown was, you say, I am the clown. I have the red nose. I have the big feet. I have the funny clothes. And describe this clown as though you're it. Now, you go a step further. I am the stairs. And you describe the stairs and what stairs are. And as you do this, you start giving meaning from your subconscious into your conscious life. The deeper and further you can get into the description within the dream as though you are absolutely every part of that dream, the more you will be able to interpret the dream, because each one is symbolic to your particular consciousness. It's not as though, fish represent this in a dream. No, it's the fish. You are the fish in the dream. Tell us how you represent that in your dream, not fully in everybody's dream, in your dream. I've done this before and used this system to great benefit to myself. I'll give you one simple dream that I could give you two, but I'll give you one. In this dream, I am hearing the sound of a boat, a large boat, off in the distance. And suddenly I'm awakened from where I am. I'm doing something like I'm digging in the sand as a little child would. And suddenly I turn my head and I look and I think, I'm supposed to be on that boat. That sound is the recognition that the boat is prepared to leave. I am far away from the boat that is leaving. I must run as fast as I can to catch the boat. And I start running and running through the sand, and the sand is hard to run in. And I'm moving as fast as I can. I am the sand. I am soft and easily pushed out of the way. I am not able to be steady for anyone who tries to use me to run or do anything else. I am simply sand. Finally, I get to a point, and I am, not I was, but I am on solid ground running towards a pier. And I can see the boat in the distance. And as I run, the pier turns from being a concrete pier into a wooden pier, as though it's on a lake. And I run out the deck of this. No longer is it a pier, it's just a dock. It's not a pier any longer in my dream. It is a dock, and it's narrow, and it's wooden, and it's hard, and it has splinters and uneven boards. But I run as best as I can, and finally I have to just start walking. As I get to the end of the pier and look out, it is too far to swim, and the boat has left the pier, the dock, and is far in the distance. And then I wake up. That's a dream I really had. I started telling this to this therapist, and the therapist said, well, be all the parts of the dream. And I was the sand. I was something that didn't have real good footing. I had ran further, and I got on the on the grass, and I was running through the grass, and I was the grass. I was each blade of grass. I moved forward further into the dream. And to simplify the whole thing, this is it. I am playing. I am wasting my time. And when I hear the sound that says to me, awaken, you're supposed to be somewhere else. You're supposed to be moving forward. You're not. You're playing. Move quickly. Yes, it will be hard at first. It will be hard to get your footing because you've been playing so long. But eventually you will get your footing. You will move forward. You will start feeling grass beneath you. You will start feeling the world around you, which you're not doing now. You're living in a fantasy. You're playing. Moving forward, I finally get to what I thought should be appear, as it should appear, and it didn't appear as it should appear. That's me. That's my mind playing tricks with words on me, and it is a dock. It is merely a dock, a wooden, narrow dock. And who was I with at the time? A doctor. I am getting closer by being on or with the dock. Now, as I run forward and get to the end of it, that which I thought was my way has sailed away. That is me giving up the past and living no longer in it. It is me being forced to live in the present moment. What an awakening that was for me. Living in the present moment. Now, this is long before I knew anything about unity. I didn't see anything except in the way that I had been raised, which was spiritually was the old Christian religion. And I didn't understand how the way I felt inside and interpreted life now could possibly fit into this box that had been created for me, this box in my mind. Eventually, I found unity, and unity had the same answers that this book, Gestalt Therapy Verbatim, had for me. It opened me to the idea that, yes, we have fantasies. Yes, we have dreams. Yes, we have desires, and they can be attained only by the melding of our thought and feeling natures to be able to manifest into the present moment. This is the only way. This is the way that, there are many ways. I don't mean it's the only way, but what I mean is it is a way that can work for you if you are fully present. And that's the idea behind Gestalt therapy, is to learn to take all those aspects of your life and meld them together so that you can be in the present moment. I talk about this a lot, I know, but that is really how we become peaceful, present, and fully loving, as I said in the prayer earlier, of God and our fellow person. If we can do this and be fully present, then we can behold the Christ in others, because we are starting to learn to behold and live the Christ within ourselves. Can you do that? Of course you can. Of course you can. Every one of us can do this. But it takes practice. It takes us to be physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually prepared to go forward in life visualizing and seeing, as the Daily Word said, a life full of spiritual prosperity. Seeing those things which are fully necessary in our lives for us to have a peace-filled and happy life. Part of this peace-filled and happy life is expressing to and accepting of others. That's not just the ones you like, but that's the ones you also don't like. Why? Because we need them. They need us and we need them. We're all fully present when we can do that. God bless. Thanks.